Welcome to the Belly Brain Connection. I'm Hannah Winans. I'm a certified functional nutrition counselor, and I'm on a mission to help educate people about the connection between their gut health and mental well-being. I believe that our gut health is the cornerstone to our overall health, and when we nourish our bodies, we nourish our minds. Belly Brain is for informational purposes only. I'm not offering medical advice here. If you need medical advice, please consult your physician. Welcome back. Today is episode 18. Last week, I shared with you a couple studies about the connection between our gut microbiome and exercise and how both those things can benefit each other, how exercise actually improves our overall gut health, which of course we know is a huge component to our health in general. And then also, interestingly enough, how they're learning that our little gut buddies or gut microbiome may be able to change with exercise and actually influence us and help us to crave more exercise. So more research to come on that, but I thought that was pretty exciting. The food of the week last week was pineapple. I shared with you some of the healthy properties of pineapple, which is kind of fun. And let's see, for this week, I'm super excited to share with you some information about our oral microbiome. Now, for me, every time I hear the word microbiome anywhere, I stop in my tracks and pay attention. So the oral microbiome has been on my mind for a while now. And so I'm really, really thrilled to see that they're really having some of the biggest health guru type people in functional medicine are exploring and interviewing functional and holistic dentists to learn more about the oral microbiome and how it affects us. So I came across a really good interview that I'm going to share on the website, bellybrain.com, but I also wanted to kind of hit the highlights with it in case you don't have time to listen to the whole thing. And our food of the week this week is the incredible edible egg, one of my absolute favorite things. I eat them every day. If you do eat meat and you do eat eggs, wow, it is an egg is a powerful, powerful food. So we'll talk about that. And then locally, I came across a really delicious yogurt. Now, I know I've talked about the yogurt that I make, the El Ruderay yogurt, and I've talked about a non-dairy version of yogurt that I really like, which is Cocoa June. But I've kind of been just kind of trying out different yogurts, Greek yogurts, and I'm realizing they all vary a lot. So I found a really delicious, super creamy, it's hands down my favorite yogurt. It's Strauss, Straus, organic Greek yogurt. And I found it at Eureka Natural Foods in McKinleyville. And I think they also sell it at Wild Berries in Arcata. You guys, this is the best yogurt I've ever had. Of course, get the unsweetened, full fat, no sugar version, plain, but it is so creamy and it's very decadent. So definitely, if you want to upgrade your yogurt game, I highly recommend that. I actually mix in a little bit of the El Ruderay yogurt that I make with it. The El Ruderay yogurt's fine, but this is next level, and so it's a really, really nice combination. I'm going to try and share with you guys. It's something every week that I find locally that is a really good kind of belly food or brain food too. So Strauss organic whole fat Greek yogurt is delicious. Okay, let's dive into our oral microbiome. So I came across this interview with Dr. Andrew Huberman and Dr. Stacy Whitman. And Dr. Stacy Whitman is a functional and holistic pediatric dentist, and she's out of Portland, Oregon. And it's a 3-hour interview, and I listened to every single minute of it and actually went back and re-listened to some parts of it because I was so fascinated with what Dr. Stacy had to say. Now she's got a company up in Oregon, or maybe it's out of Oregon, I'm not sure, but she has a company that manufactures toothpaste that kind of have probiotic and prebiotic properties to it. And I actually bought some of it. I'm trying it out. So I'll report back, my thoughts on that. But I came across this interview and I just thought it was really interesting stuff. And, for me, I'd had some dental issues, and this all kind of was about the height of my gut dysbiosis that I was going through. And I was trying to not take as many antibiotics as was recommended by the dentist, or at least kind of only take them when necessary for the dental stuff I was going through. And so he had put me on a Z-Pak, which we thought might be a better it's a shorter dose of antibiotics. And so we thought that might be a good alternative. Well, it was a mess. I took the antibiotic and I ended up with this really weird, it's called thrush, and babies get it. and not to get too graphic, and I feel like this is way too personal, but I just wanted to explain to you why I began starting to really think about our oral microbiome and our gut health, because it it was like, my mouth was on fire. Was having all kinds of digestive issues. Basically, I think it totally kind of set off the some of the stuff I was going through internally with my gut. Somehow, this antibiotic just really, really messed me up, and the fact that it manifested in the mouth, I thought was really weird. So now that I know what I know, it all completely makes sense. Not to say you shouldn't do what your dentist tells you, but just knowing that I did not react well to that antibiotic, and I think that it was because of the state my gut was in, and then that just disrupted everything anymore. That disrupted everything more, and then that caused a whole thing going on in my mouth. So anyways, so that's my a little bit of a story with that, but it really does kind of tie into what I want to talk about. So I went to Dr. Stacy's website, and I wanted to read to you kind of a summary of what she had to say. And I'm reading to you directly because I think this is better than me trying to kind of summarize it. But this is what she has to say. According to the American Academy for Oral Systemic Health, the spread of oral bacteria throughout the body can result in chronic inflammation, a process linked to many systemic issues, including cardiovascular disease, diabetes, and even some forms of cancer. Poor oral health has also been linked to Alzheimer's, dementia, rheumatoid arthritis, and even pregnancy complications. So I'll stop right there, because how interesting that they're making the connection between poor oral health and dementia. And we're always focused on that belly brain connection. So how does that fit in with dementia? Well, from what I've learned, just like we can have leaky gut, with leaky gut, the wrong kind of bacteria and toxins kind of get through our gut and enter into our whole body, and really can cause a lot of problems. So now they're saying you can have something called leaky gums, and it's the same kind of thing. So that when these bacteria like get through like if you have bleeding gums or gingivitis, again, I'm not a dentist. I'm just kind of I'm recycling this information, but it sounds like these bacteria can get through your gums and into your system as well, and kind of do the same things and cause the same kind of inflammation that you see with leaky gut. So I thought that was super fascinating. Okay, so along with the other complications, there can be increased inflammation, pathogenic bacteria, and dysbiosis, gingivitis, cavities, halitosis, failing dental work, and periodontitis can all have significant downstream effects on our bodies if left untreated and not prioritized. Again, we're looking at the whole body. Everything's connected. This is what functional health is all about. This is what functional nutrition is all about. Realizing that everything that we do to our bodies has an effect on our whole system. And whenever we start talking about microbiome, we know that that's going to have a huge impact on how we feel. Um, she says, how dental disease affects systemic disease. Dental disease affects systemic disease through bacteria and microbes that can easily pass through inflamed gum tissue, get into our bloodstreams, lymph, and nervous systems, travel throughout the body, and end up where they don't belong. These microbes can even get dispersed into our guts through our daily act of swallowing 2,000 times a day, contributing to GI issues, immune and hormonal imbalances, and more. The teeth, tongue, cheeks, gingival sulcus, tonsils, hard palate, and soft palate provide a rich environment where microorganisms can flourish. The oral microbiome has over 700 species of bacteria and over 2 billion bacteria in all. If your oral microbiome is full of harmful bacteria, when absorbed by the body into our gut or bloodstream, it can cause systemic inflammation and manifest in joints, heart, or even the brain. The body's immune system response to bacteria then becomes critical. And since the immune system is mainly dependent on the microbiome in your body, keeping it healthy is critical. Huge. I mean, it makes complete sense because of all the studying and all the work that we've done learning about the gut microbiome. When you think about the fact that your tongue and your mouth, that's just an extension of your gut. That's the part of your gut that reaches the outside of the body. So we've really got to be aware of how we're taking care of our mouths, if we want to protect our guts. And in that, if we want to keep our brains healthy and happy. Okay, so some of the risks of gum disease and oral health problems, diabetes, heart disease, and stroke, low birth weight, respiratory disease, sleep apnea, cancer, and rheumatoid arthritis. Okay, so not to completely freak you all out, but I'm just trying to make that case of why oral health is so important and how it's connected to our overall gut health. She also, in this interview, she talks about things that can wipe out our oral microbiome. And this is something I've been kind of aware of for a while and I've been careful with. So first of all, she says that antiseptic mouthwashes, really bad idea. Those can basically, I mean, you wipe out germs, which is how it's advertised. I think it's advertised kills, some of those like Listerine, 99% kills all the germs. Some of our germs are good for us and we want to keep them. So she says those are probably not the best idea. Even chewing gum, she gets into a little bit about just being aware that you want to be careful of the ingredients that are in the gum that you're chewing. She says for some people who have chronic bad breath, halitosis, they feel the need to constantly need mints and chewing gum and ways to freshen up their breath. And she says, when somebody comes to her with those issues, she wants to know what's going on with the gut first, what's causing that really bad breath, right? And she says a lot of times it's gut related. Continuous snacking. So I'm not a snacker anymore. I kind of have changed up the way that I eat. I typically eat twice a day. It just works for me. On days that I work out really hard, I incorporate a couple snacks, but it just works for me. I feel more satiated, more stable when I'm not consistently snacking all day. So I like to do 2 larger meals, and then on workout days, I'll maybe incorporate some light snacks. But so, great, right? That works for me. But what I didn't really realize is that's actually an optimal way to protect your oral health as well. So the reason why she explains that when you when you're eating, so during the digestive process, there actually is a demineralization that happens with your teeth. And it's a natural occurrence. It has something to do with like the different enzymes that your body's producing at the time that you're chewing and digesting. And once we stop, our saliva will start to help to remineralize your teeth. Okay, so it's you eat, you demineralize, you stop eating, you take a break, and your saliva begins to go back and do its thing. And so when we're constantly snacking, we're not really giving our teeth a break. Just like when we're constantly eating, we need to give our bodies time to digest our food. And I like to call it rest and digest, which is why I typically only eat two times a day. I just my gut feels better when I eat that way. But it's the same thing with the teeth. We need to let the body recuperate from food. And when you think about the sipping and the snacking that we do all day long, it makes sense that that would, cause some dysbiosis in our oral microbiome, maybe affect our teeth. And I don't think it's something we really think about. So I thought that was really interesting. She had so much great information. So I know this is belly brain, and that's why I'm trying to tie this back into how this helps our gut. But if you've ever been into dentistry and just what's going on with our teeth, there's a lot of really good information in this interview, just even for that reason. But she was able to really kind of relate it back to our overall health. She talks about different foods that we're eating, especially ultra processed foods, and how it's not just sugar that is bad for our teeth. I think we hear a lot of that. Oh, just stay away from sugar. Sugar causes cavities. She also brings up the fact that she says flour acts like sugar on the teeth. And so when you think about a lot of these ultra processed foods and how they are floury, sticky, chewy, they kind of sit in your mouth, kind of sit on your teeth. She talks about the damage that that's causing and how, again, that's disrupting that oral microbiome. So now that I've completely freaked you out, I'll talk about some of the things that you can actually do to help with that. And interestingly enough, I used to tongue scrape all the time. And then I stopped doing that because I knew that there were organisms on the tongue and I was worried that I would be disrupting my gut microbiome or my oral microbiome and then my gut microbiome if I tongue scraped too much, but I kind of missed it. So she says it's good to tongue scrape because as long as you go kind of lightly, you're only scraping off the bad bacteria, that the good bacteria lives deeper in the layers of your tongue. So I was happy to hear that. So I'm going back to tongue scraping. Probiotic foods, of course, can really help. A diet rich in probiotic foods not only helps your gut microbiome, it helps your oral microbiome, which in turn is going to help your overall dental health. There are oral probiotics that you can take that are, I guess, strains specifically targeted for your oral microbiome. I haven't done much research on those, but it sounds like they're out there. She has a toothpaste called FIG, FYGG, and it's an acronym for Feed Your Good Guys. And this toothpaste, it's non-fluoride, and she does get into the fluoride controversy. So I'll let you listen to it and make up your opinion about that. This is a non-fluorided toothpaste. And I bought some just because I wanted to try it out. It's interesting. It's not minty and it's not fizzy and fuzzy. It doesn't have that super like clean feel that you kind of are used to with toothpaste. But in listening to this interview, she kind of explains that the things that make the toothpaste really minty and really fizzy are things that actually could disrupt our oral microbiome. Even natural oils, like natural peppermint, things like that. Those a lot of those, I guess, herbs, peppermint's an herb, I think, like peppermint, clove, oregano. Those actually have antimicrobial properties to them, so they can be good in some cases, but maybe not something we want to be putting into our mouth every day. Teeth whitening, bleaching. She kind of goes over that. A lot of really, really good information. I also came across, now I'm not sure if I have notes. There was another doctor, a dentist that I looked up, and I'm going to share links to both these dentists. And his name is Dr. Stephen Lin, and he wrote a book called The Dental Diet. And this is what he has to say, and this kind of backs up what Dr. Stacy has to say. Oral health is directly connected to digestive health. If you suffer from a digestive disease, it may cause oral signs or problems. If you suffer from digestive problems, consider their impact on your oral health. The mouth and gut are connected. In order to heal one, you often need to heal the other. So he has a really good website that goes into this a lot more in detail. And so I'll post that link in the website as well. There's so much more. But again, I heard oral microbiome on this interview, and I just was so excited because it's something that I've been kind of researching on my own and kind of been tuned into. And just like with the gut microbiome, I think our oral microbiome is on the frontier of medicine, and it's going to be something that you're going to be hearing a lot more about it. And you could say you heard it here first, maybe, I don't know, but so much more to learn about it. And I'll be bringing things to you as I learn more as well. But take care of your teeth. You'll take care of your gut. It's amazing. So let's talk about eggs. Eggs are one of my favorite foods. I eat them every day. It's a great source of protein. My preferred way of eating eggs is I love to fry them up in ghee. There's nothing better to me than a fried egg. And yeah, I just make sure it's part of my protein that I get in daily. It's easy. It has some really healthy fats in there, but I'll kind of go over a little bit more about the health benefits of eggs. Oh, and by the way, I've tried them fried in coconut oil and olive oil, and ghee seems to be the winner. It's got a higher smoke point, and the coconut oil just makes it a little too coconutty. So grab yourself some ghee. I've also done them in beef tallow. Again, beef tallow is delicious, but it's a little kind of overpowers the egg. And that ghee adds kind of a buttery flavor to it. So let's see. So for health benefits, a single large boiled egg contains vitamin A, 8% of the daily recommended value, folate, 6% panthenolic acid, vitamin B5, 14% of the daily value, vitamin B12, 23%, riboflavin, vitamin B2, 20%, phosphorus, 7%, selenium, 28%. I did not know that about eggs. Selenium is, I know, something that they're really saying a lot of women, especially going through perimenopause and menopause, should be getting selenium in their diet. It can help with actually help with thyroid function. So interesting that that it's got that much. I eat them in Brazil nuts every morning. I did not realize they were also in the egg. See, I'm learning things too. Let's see. Eggs also contain decent amounts of vitamin D and vitamin E, vitamin B6, calcium, and zinc. And let's see. In fact, it says here, this is from Healthline, I think. Healthline. It says, in fact, eggs are pretty much the perfect food. They contain a little bit of almost every nutrient you need. One of the things that I've been confused about, and I don't have chickens, so I don't get them fresh from the farm necessarily, but there's like cage-free, pasteurized, um, or not pasteurized, but pasture raised. And I don't, I'm just kind of diving into what is the better option. It does say here that if you can get your hands on pastured or omega-3 enriched eggs, these are even more nutrient dense. They contain higher amounts of omega-3 fat and are much higher in vitamins A and E. Cholesterol, I'm not even going to get into that because I just really, well, my stance on cholesterol is it's not something I'm going to worry about. I have had my lab work done. I have excellent labs and I eat lots of eggs. And there's a book out there called The Cholesterol Myth. I can't think of the author right now, but if you want to know more about cholesterol, I would read that book. They contain choline, and it says an important nutrient that most people don't get enough of. Eggs are a good dietary source of choline, an important nutrient often grouped with B vitamins. Let's see. They are linked to helping reduce the risk of heart disease. They contain lutein, zeaxanthin, and antioxidants that have major benefits for eye health. I did not know that either. So that's interesting. It says in 2022, a review of research suggests consuming adequate amounts of these nutrients can significantly reduce the risk of cataracts and macular degeneration, two very common eye disorders. So eggs could be good for your eyes. Full of omega-3s, which can help lower triglycerides. And we know that these are healthy fats for our brain too. And what I love about an egg, it's another one of those funny foods that looks like a brain and looks like what it's helping. Just like walnuts, have those really healthy fats in them. And I think they kind of look like brains. An egg to me is the same thing. And of course, we know that they are high in quality protein and they have all the right amino acids. Amino acids, yes. And it says in the right ratios. So I think a lot of people in the health space hear about amino acids. And for some people who, are on different diet plans, like maybe vegetarian, vegan, it's something that they have to supplement. But the thing with eggs is that they've got it in the right kind of ratio that you can get in a lot of meat. So if you're, if you are a meat eater or you are, you do eat eggs, you don't need to really worry about supplementing those things because it's all kind of packed in. It's the right package. Let's see, they can fill you up, which I think eggs are super filling. And so for people who are on a weight loss plan, it's a clean, easy food to incorporate. So hopefully that's enough reason to give you to add eggs into your diet if you aren't already. I think for me, like I said, the fried egg is the best, but scrambled eggs, sometimes I'll scramble them and throw on some avocado. I love salsa on my eggs, so I'm sure you've got a way that you love them too. My husband and I were just talking about, I've never had a soft boiled egg like they do in England. So I remember seeing it in Downton Abbey where they would come out with the cute little cup and the egg, and then they would crack it. I've never done that, but my husband said that his mom had something like that. She was from England, and she would cut up the toast and they would dip their toast into the soft boiled egg. So I don't really do a lot of toast, but that might be something I need to try because it sounds fun and it looked very cool on Downton Abbey. So, there's that. Let's see. I think that's it for today. I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to bring to you next week, but it'll be something good. And I think that's it. I appreciate you for tuning back in. Don't forget, chew your food, eat your eggs, brush your teeth, take care of your mouth. It's all tied together. And I will see you next week. Bye.